right, so I'm now here with Tox of Polygonal Mine in an incredible world created around the NFT artist Xcopy. And yeah, Tox, tell us a little bit about this horrifying crash site that you guys have created within Decentraland.
Well, this is part of one of the most oldest galleries in Decentraland, which is the Momos Gallery. They being one of the biggest supporters in the earliest stage of crypto art, both in Decentraland and outside Decentraland. And they wanted to create a gallery about Xcopy, and they bought one thing we have, which is called a Wondertech Glitch, and that is an NFT that allows you that hires ourselves from 1 month to create something incredible. And they decided to create something for Xcopy so they could display their collections, and also Xcopy could curate his own work and display the ones he likes the most.
Well, that's super cool. Well, should we take me on a tour of it? How do we kind of walk around?
It's as you can see, it's
pretty big.
A crash site. Yeah, it's pretty big. It's a crash site. It's supposed to be that the lore of the place is that there is this spaceship is going to the moon, and they just crash landed into the central for some stuff, right? The cool place, the cool thing about this place, yeah, this is a guy had that crashed the place, right? And inside you can also go inside if you have been in the launch of the place. So only a few people in the world can actually access to this inside area.
Interesting. So how do you technically do that? Like, can you go inside?
Yeah, I can go because I have been.
No, what is it doing? It's like checking your wallet. Like, how do you even do that? That's so cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
kidding. So, you can actually do that?
Yeah,
that's
you can
so
create
cool.
a lot of environments and a lot of interactions with your wallet and the NFTs you have.
No. So it's almost like Collab Land, but for a location. That's so interesting. I don't think I've always wanted that, but that's so cool. I didn't realize that was a thing. I love that. This is kind of magical. Well done, Tox. Wow.
Yeah,
I
like
love
it.
that. Yeah, that's so cool. Well, yeah, tell folks at the summit a little bit about Polygonal Mine and what you guys have worked on, but also I know you've also started working on avatars as well. Like, maybe talk a little bit about the virtual beings you guys are creating.
Sure. I mean, Polygonal Mine is a creative development studio that was founded around almost 7 years ago. But I started with a friend to create video games and VR stuff that we were very passionate about. But we didn't work out, so I had to switch the company to be an outsourcing company for video games and VR. And I will say that a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, we discovered NFTs and Decentraland and crypto art, and we started to build stuff around all these different virtual worlds. And as you can imagine, this year has been a ride since everybody was discovering what an NFT was, and they were starting to pay attention to what we were building. So it allows us to create cooler stuff, bigger stuff, hire more artists, and pretty much expand the studio. And on the avatar side, my background is I'm a character designer myself. So there was a time in the studio that we were creating avatars for VR chat commission. And that's something that I really like because it was creating avatars for other people, right? And when I joined Decentraland, I know these virtual places, I was like, why people is buying lands and they were not buying avatars? Since in the game industry, what really insult and say, what really makes people go crazy is characters, right? Is armor, is skins, is things that have to do with your own character. So we decided to combine the two things that we do together. It's NFTs and avatar characters. So you can have one avatar or one character that can represent yourself across all these different worlds with your NFT as an NFT.
We'll say more about that idea? Does that mean it's interoperable? Does it look different in different
Yeah,
art styles? Like, how do you see that working? Like,
yeah,
would you look
yeah.
like this in other worlds? Like, you'd always kind of look like this with your hot dog head?
No, this is something that I just wear in the central one, but I would love to have my crypto avatar here instead of having the central one avatar. What we mean is that crypto avatars are interoperable and you can use them across different worlds. Kind of the same. The idea is that you have the same file or the same view in all these different places. Of course, if you go to somewhere like, let's say, Minecraft, probably your avatar needs to be voxelized so you can match the style of the world. But in the end, it looks very similar to you.
And do you think, when you look at the different folks going with avatars, I'm sort of noticing the shift from 2D to 3D and things that work more with metaverse worlds. And I know that you're working on some of the Bored Ape 3Ds. Do you think that is going to be a big shift going from 2 dimensions to 3 dimensions, and that, a year from now, most avatars, it'll be like a flippening where some avatars will be 2D, but most will be 3D? Or how do you kind of see that going?
All right. I think they all started in 2D because it was way faster to produce and validate the project. And probably that's why we are seeing that there's a boom of them, right? Because at the end of the day, it's fairly easy to produce a 2D version of profile picture projects, right? But when it comes to having it in 3D, it takes probably 3 times more just to produce all the assets and everything fits fine. And then you also have to rig them and prepare them technically so they can work on everywhere, right? So it's a more complex
10
job than
times,
just
10 times the time in some cases.
Exactly. It takes a lot of time to produce, right? So it's probably all the projects are starting to 2D because they take way less time to produce and validate the project. And we are going to be seeing that the projects have really a strong community and that can sustain themselves through time. We'll be shifting into making their projects into interoperable, because the way I see it, all these people they are building community brands, and the community brands that kind of stick together and propose ideas and want to continue to live in the metaverse for for a long time. Those are the ones that are going to be starting to be in 3D, interoperable, and you will be seeing them just not in OpenSea, but also in decentralized crypto voxels or any different digital world.
How do you think about bespoke avatars, like a team working on one avatar for one person, that then might kind of, instead of a 10K drop, something that's just for an individual wanting a single virtual being that's interoperable?
Yeah, commission avatar. That's something that has been happening for a long time. So I think it's something that is happening already. We are already experiencing that with CryptoAvatars. We've seen also already that in the VR chat community. And I think it's going to become more popular the more we dig more selves into the metaverse, because eventually you will have enough time to kind of be and want to be unique. And probably you want to, somebody who to craft your persona inside the virtual world rather than just buying something that looks fairly similar to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think so too. And what do you think about customizable, so that you could have you could create your own? Do you think people want the artist creating it for them, or do you think that we're just early for customizable avatars?
No. Of course, it's going to be, there's going to be a market for everything, right? I believe that people that maybe doesn't want to spend that much time or really doesn't have the feeling that the metaverse can be something, probably those are going to be going for something ready-made where they can create their avatar, choosing a few features, like creating a Sims, right? Where you can create your own avatar. That's something that a lot of people is going to be doing, and probably is going to be the gateway for most people. But the ones that are going to be staying for a long time, or the ones that find a place where they can, be themselves, for a community, or pretty much people who will be spending time, not just people that will hop in, do something, and hop out. Those are going to be the ones that want to be unique, because eventually you are going to get tired of looking like everybody else, right? Eventually you just want to be unique yourself. So I think it's just a different market.
Yeah. And where do you, last sort of question, where do you see architecture going, and maybe the kind of connection between avatars and architecture? What you just did with a certain piece of a certain building that you can access using your avatar is just mind-blowing. I think that's so cool. But I assume there are other things that you could do, where your avatar could unlock different things or could see different things. How do you kind of see that connection between avatar and space growing over the years?
I mean, probably the stuff that I'm thinking now in 5 years now will be just obsolete, and will be just a dumb thing that everybody does, right? Like the NFT you just crossed seems like normal already, and just a few months ago it was something that we couldn't do. But I see that eventually people will be able to build their own virtual places, and probably that will interact with their own avatar and interact with your own wallet. And you will be able to create your place like in Habbo hotels in a way, and where you will be able to drag and drop 3D models that maybe you just download for free from something else or somebody else, right? And then once you have your own place, you will also be able to go to different places, and we will see how that goes. I think eventually avatars will be able to transport some experiences from one world to another, but not all the worlds will be able to load all the features that your avatar has.
Experiences like inventory, or what do you mean when you say
inventory. Inventory, probably I'm more concerned about animations and materials, which is something that not all the different worlds load the same. But yeah, stuff like that.
It's fascinating. Well, thank you very much for taking the time, Tox. I think this is super interesting. And well, I guess the last question would be when can we expect 3D apes? I'm sure you can't say it, but what are you hoping, or what are you thinking, and all that?
I cannot say when it is. I can say that we are aiming for launching the new version of CryptoAvatars site through November. We still don't have like a precise date. We are still working on that, but once we have the new version of CryptoAvatars, I think it's going to be interesting, because it's going to be some NFTs even more usable than they are now.
Super cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Tox. This was terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Pleasure to be talking with you.